Welcome to episode 369 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. And I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg. Before I introduce my panel, I just want to make sure everybody's aware I am out of town, but with my dedication, I wanted to make sure we had a show. So I am talking to you from Saratoga Springs, New York. I'm enjoying a great time with my friends, as well as playing a little bit of the races at the Saratoga racetrack, which is an absolutely beautiful place. Drinking my Saratoga water, as everybody has here. You got to have your Saratoga water, and so everybody can get a laugh at that as I introduce you guys. And but it's all great for you guys to be here. So, but with that, let's go ahead and introduce the panel this week. Jeff Gamet is here, and he was here early. Glad you're here, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, and I want you to know I am the real Jeff Gamet, even though I was here early.
This is true. This is true. And Jill McKinley, as we probably announced, you are one of our regular contributors. I'm so glad you can have you each week as you are able to be here. And thanks for being here. How you doing?
Oh, thanks for having me. And it's a real honor to be among this distinguished crowd that I know and love so well and got to see last week. So thank you.
Almost 2 weeks now, I think it is. I can't believe it already.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
How dare you refer to us as distinguished?
And also Chuck Joyner's here. I'm glad you were able to make it. You were having some late times there at work, but I appreciate you being here. How you doing, Chuck?
Thank you, Dave. I do want to know, though, everybody on the podcast that believes that there's water in that bottle, raise your hands.
I just drank it. See?
Jill, you're so nice.
Yeah, you guys. I've got a bridge I want to sell you.
Your
it
Saratoga
says natural
water.
Spring water.
Sure does.
So, this is Boulder water. And for those of you that are like, I don't get it. It's a Nalgene bottle. Pretty much everyone just walks around with a Nalgene bottle in their hand all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Also here, I'm glad you're feeling better, Marty. It's Marty Jencius. How you doing, Marty?
It's been a strange couple of days with illness in the family and trying to deal with it. But this is sort of my safe space. So I'm glad to be here with this group.
Absolutely thrilled, you guys. And we were running a little late today because I had to have a little bit of dinner before I came on to do the podcast. So I'm being very open and admitting everything so everybody's aware why we're a little late tonight. But last but certainly not least, he's in some cavern. Oh, no, maybe that's a persona. It's Eric Bolden and his Vision Pro. How you doing, Eric?
Hello.
Whoa. And of course, when he covers his mouth, because it blocks it out.
Eric Bolden joining us straight from Uncanny Valley.
Someone had to do it, so I volunteered today.
Yep. So
I remember when Eric was real. Those were good days.
So we got our usual things to talk about this week. In touch with Vision Pro. The beta this week's been pretty active. We'll talk about that a little bit. Marty's going to have a great discussion about the AppleCare One plan. I'm still learning about because being on vacation is hard to stay up on the news, but we got some good stuff this week, as well as In Touch with Mac and lots of news. But let's go ahead and get started with In Touch with Vision Pro. Apple did release the developer beta of Beta 4 of Vision Pro on visionOS 26. It's been 2 weeks after the third developer beta was released, and which since announced. What's new? It's saying it's bringing spatial widgets and a much improved persona features and supporting 180-degree and 360-degree videos from action cams like the Insta360 and GoPro, as well as the PSVR2 controllers. It did introduce the Jupyter immersive environment, as well as support from Muse, a new stylus-like accessory from Logitech. And I'm now finding this out, and I can't wait to find out. Marty, did you already install it on your Vision Pro? And how is the Jupyter immersive? Did you try?
Yeah, I installed it. I haven't jumped to Jupyter, but to look at it, no, it's just been a busy couple of days. I don't
have one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did put out a Pro Notes short podcast on it and looked at the difference between Beta 3 and Beta 4. and basically smoother system performance. It's funny because that's a standard joke. It's a little snappier, it's a little cleaner, but people in Reddit were reporting it's smoother, and that's what Apple is saying is something that happens with it. Better visual transitions. We know about the persistent layouts, the fact that you can place objects in apps in rooms and when they disappear. And then they're working more with the eye, the foveation and looking at different objects and making sure that those become clear. So that is better in this version. For developers, persistent API, place it once, it always stays there. And then also eye tracking is better with this, so visuals that adapt to you is what developers will get out of this shift from the beta 3 to the beta 4.
Okay, Eric, you've been doing so much changing with your persona. I bet you did get to see Jupiter.
I see no sign of Jupiter.
No?
So if it's in here, I don't know where it is. Or if they're just mentioning it because it was discussed at developer conference, and so they mentioned it each time.
Okay.
So I haven't seen it.
Interesting.
But however, the persona did get more solid. Like earlier this week, if I moved my hand in, it was kind of ghosty. Now I almost feel like I could pick something up. So far each build, you pretty much had to redo the persona. So they've been tweaking it.
Okay. All right. So
he's sort of like back to the future Eric, except he's beginning to dissolve instead of beginning to become solid.
Well, and I think that the glasses are different now.
They're definitely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were saying they weren't looking like your glasses before, right?
Yeah, now they're pretty close.
Oh my God, look how close that is. For those that are listening, he zoomed right onto his face, and we're looking at his glasses that are in his persona.
Tilt your head back and let's look up your nostril, Eric. Let's look up your virtual nostril.
This is scary.
They are.
Those that should be watching the video, you can watch back on youtube.com/InTouchWithOS. We'll leave that up here so you can see it. It's
no, you shouldn't, folks.
You shouldn't see it though. It is kind of freaky.
It is, Eric. It's interesting that your glasses are sharper and seem to have more realistic details than your head.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. My glasses are more real than me?
Yeah, it looks like a little bit.
I was thinking they kind of had gotten the hair down because it's got little bits like my eyebrows are a little bit fuzzy or whatever.
Hey Eric, can you repeat after? Will you repeat after me? Go ahead, zoom in really close, and then repeat after me.
I'll never do this again because it's a bad idea.
All right. I am the great and powerful Oz.
Yeah, but I need a flames in the background and an echo.
Dave will
we can make that happen.
Future episode. I'm not that good yet.
Oh gosh! All right, let's move on. Other article I had in here, and we talked about this on Vision Profiles, but I wanted to hit on a little bit more here, is Apple Magazine had a great article a week or two ago about setting up your Apple Vision Pro as a seamless start to spatial computing. And you can go through the article. We've got the link in the show notes. A couple things of note I wanted to hit on was the fitting of it. When you try to fit this headset for comfort, they have the optical inserts, and I believe neither of you, Marty or Eric, use the optical. You had those special ones. You didn't buy the actual ones that Apple provides, right, Eric?
Oh, yeah. No, I have those too.
Oh, you do.
I got the other set because I was hoping that I could use them for people that were borrowing.
Oh, right. Then you told me that. Yeah. So those tend to work out pretty good for you, right? It's for those who do wear glasses and can't use it without them.
Excellent.
So you do have to have them all the time, right? Because of your sight?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I wear readers, but when I take them off, I don't have a problem because it's magnified enough for my sight that I don't have any issues with that. But that's what's great about the Vision Pro is being able to have those in place. Another thing I mentioned was the actual pad that goes around it. I actually ended up buying 2 extra ones, and it actually fits a little better. And I haven't even had the thing for, we had it maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and I don't know that much that it would wear out. But when I was doing the demos at MacStack, we talked about it kept coming off all the time every time I switched out. So, but it seems to be working better with that. So, but this does go through some great things when it comes to the how you explore the Vision Pro, why it matters, and I should have took it on a trip, but I just with everything else I'm lugging around me, I was like, I was tempted, but I was like, I better not. I got enough that I'm carrying with me so that I didn't do it. Anything you want to add, Marty? As far as I know, we talked about this, and if you had some ideas with how this really laid out, what to experience when you set up a Vision Pro.
This is a good article. I wish Apple would have produced something like this earlier on for folks, but it is a good review for folks who have a Vision Pro or folks like Chuck who will be getting a Vision Pro soon. That gets to the setup. Regarding the inserts, I wear contacts and glasses. So I wear readers when I'm up close, and then contacts will do distance vision for me. So I have, when I have my contacts in, I don't put in inserts. When I have my contacts out, I do have reader inserts that I put into the Vision Pro. But it's so often I have my contacts in that I forget that I need to put the inserts, or that I ever use the inserts. But I do on occasion, late at night when I want to watch a movie and my eyes are tired.
Yeah. So, anybody add anything else to this? I don't think I have much else. None of you have Vision Pros, but always welcome some comments if you want.
Right. Glad to see it progress. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. So that's it about Vision Pro this week. Let's talk a little bit about beta. But before we get to beta, iOS 18.6 release candidate was released out in beta. That's the other beta, I guess you could call it. And as the launch is getting very close, as I said, when it's an RC, that's a release candidate. That means launch is imminent. And it was a beta for developers and the public betas at the same time. And that's covering all of the iOS, iPadOS, macOS. So you got macOS Sequoia 15.6, tvOS 18.6, watchOS 11.6, our fun little HomePod 18.6, and then Vision Pro, which 2.6 was also for just developers only. And they've been preparing this at all. There really isn't much else in here other than the fact that there's some EU-related changes that had to come. Hard to say when that'll get released, and if it'll ever get released in the US. I don't know if there's much else to say about this and relates to 18.6. I don't think anybody's on that, so there's probably not much else to say about it other than to be aware that potentially is coming very shortly here.
It was released today, Dave.
Oh, it was released today. Oh, thank you.
Yep.
But so I tried to install it and it didn't come up. So I am running 18.5 on my phone. Thank you for correcting me on that. It didn't come up. Let me see. Maybe it's going to come up now. Yeah, it still says 18.5. So maybe it's not for everybody. It might be just EU, which is very possible. So that's probably the case. So we can move on from that. But thank you for putting that in, highlighting that for me. iPadOS Beta 4 is also out, available in iPadOS. Let's move on to the latest of the beta. It had some latest iPad changes. I've been using my iPad here in Saratoga. It's been absolutely great to have, and I'm so glad I'm running the beta because I was able to go to program and be able to watch the shows and make some bets and had 3-4 screens on. It was so awesome to be able to do that. And some of the things that it's showing that has added that. They have just not. I mean, it really isn't saying much. There isn't really saying much to what else that they've got. Did any of you, Marty, or I don't know if Eric has it on his iPad. Did you can you see anything?
Yeah,
on the iPad. Go ahead, Eric.
It does seem to be getting a little more stable.
Okay.
Each revision, I have fewer weird crashes. Fewer times where I'm in the middle of doing something and then all of a sudden I'm waiting for it to come back. So I'm assuming that's partly to get ready for the public beta.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so, which we'll talk about in a second, because which that is out. But iOS 26 Beta 4 is also out for the iPhone. Not much else there other than it's probably the next version, so it matches up more or less with the public beta. So, like I said, public beta was released today, this week, and for all devices, iPadOS, tvOS, watchOS, and macOS, I believe as well. And again, we tell people do not update. A lot of people have been warning, a lot through the press have been saying, yeah, do not update this first public beta. I don't think it's a very good idea. You should wait, especially if it's your primary device. As you heard me, I'm not running. I was more brave with the iPad for my primary iPad, only because I really wanted to try out the multi screens, and I'm loving it. Yeah. It's still taking get a little used to them, because you're so used to swiping up and moving windows around and changing. You can't do that anymore. I'm still used to trying to get used to the macOS icons to open up and close the windows and get to the menu and all that. So it's still taking some time to get used to that. But
Dave, I have a question about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you're running the current developer beta, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. On my primary iPad, yes.
On your primary iPad. Okay, so it's on my iPad mini.
Yeah.
I'm still having issues with the window buttons when I have multiple windows open. Getting those window buttons to actually function.
Okay.
And so I'm curious if you're having an issue.
No, I was able to, other than getting used to navigating through them, I was having a little challenge just, because you want to tap and hold it because I wanted it automatically bring the 4 squares of the 4 different windows I have open.
Right.
Or if I want one and one next to each other, that's what's so great about it. It does it automatically, as well as being able to grab the little C at the backward C at the bottom right corner and drag it up or down to resize it the way you'd like. But no, I wasn't having. It might be maybe it's a Mac Mini thing. I don't know.
I had to get stuck once.
The resizing is fine. It's just when I go to use the window controls, the red, yellow, green buttons, the stoplight buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I tap there, so that expands, so you can actually use the buttons. A lot of the times, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
I had to get stuck once, but only once.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Maybe Joe.
Oh no, I just had to get stuck once, but so far the windows have moved around, and then also enlarging it so that I can use the buttons has worked. But it did get stuck a couple of times for me, and I just closed the app and opened it back up, and it was fine. But yeah, I've had it happen.
Okay. I'm actually updating the iPad right now because it wasn't updated. How about that? Live install of Beta 4 as I talk here.
Possibly
Jeff,
go wrong.
I have a mini. It's probably the iPad I use the most because it sits down. It sits in our living room, and that's where I read media in the morning. And I have noticed running the beta, I've noticed that there's been some wonkiness with the window resizing and trying to get it back to full, and also using the little squares to close out of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have to jump and close it. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, that could be.
I can tell you guys how to fix all these problems.
Yeah.
Don't install the betas.
I thought the answer was Chuck buys us Vision Pros.
No, just him. Don't install the betas, and then you don't have these problems.
Yeah. I installed the beta.
Only one I have is my one iPad. I'm happy, and if I have to redo it, fine. I'm okay with the iPad. The phone, that's a whole nother story. iPhone, nah. But I have my backup iPhone 16e. I got to update that one too. So,
Joe, you're about to scare us, aren't you?
Yeah, I did it on my iPad Pro, on my MacBook Air, on my iPhone, which is my primary device, and it has been exceptional. In fact, I have more bugs, I think, with the older macOS than I've had with the newer one. And so I have to say, don't do it. Don't listen to me. Don't put your production machine out there, but it has been stellar.
Yeah. Well, I'm running it on everything except one Mac Mini. And that's going to be my fallback if everything blows up. But Chuck, I do not see them as problems. I see them as challenges to overcome.
And be ready for the new version.
Growth opportunities.
Yes. Yeah, you don't have enough. Listen, if you don't have enough challenges, I'm happy to send some your way.
Oh no, I don't live that problem-free life that you have, Chuck.
No, that's my aspiration, Marty, to be clear. It's that's kind of my point. I've got more than enough problems to overcome to satisfy my need to overcome problems.
Yeah. All right. Let's real quick, I'll talk about the public beta. Again, it is out. You can sign up for the public beta and there's no charge. You can go down and download it. Again, I would not recommend doing this. And we've already talked about all the things that it has. Most of what's in the public beta is not all of what developer beta has will be in the public beta, but tread lightly. Like I keep saying, don't install it on your primary device. If you really want to mess up, especially your iPhone, everybody lives on their iPhones. I would not recommend putting the public beta on right this time. It's still the very first public beta. That's why they delay it until it's released, because they announced the developer betas in June, and now we're at the end of July, and then they've now released it for public beta. So I see Marty shaking his head. You saying go brave it?
Yeah. I mean, we're sitting here talking about we're on the developer beta and not having any problem. And you're saying, don't load the public beta. Don't load the public beta.
Because people, they're not like us. A lot of people are not going to be like us that are crazy enough to do it.
You're at a racetrack these last couple of days, so you're not used to betting on?
That's why I gamble. I haven't placed anything on anything on a horse in probably a year and a half. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. All right, so we'll move on and talk about quickly with tvOS is out. Beta 4 has been released to Apple users. There is a new feature in tvOS 26 that making AirPlay speakers better than ever. I'm almost tempted to put that on my Apple TV because I always have trouble getting AirPlay to work, especially on my HomePods. To see if they're doing some improvements on tvOS. watchOS, there really hasn't been much to talk about when it comes to that. Public betas are released on both those devices as well. And we go back to iOS a little bit here. Some of the beta changes. Marty, Jill, we'll go with you. Did you notice anything different on the iPhone?
No, not really. I tried to look for something that seemed different or seemed more stable, and everything seems pretty much the same. I'm not much of a liquid glass connoisseur. Yeah. I see it, but, if they change something with it, I did not notice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on. And we can pop out of beta here, unless I got anything else to cover here. A couple other things that setting up a custom ringtone in seconds now. You can do that in iOS 26. Very simple to do. And you can go open the Files app and long press an MP3 or M4A audio file that you have less than 30 seconds long. Tap Share and scroll down to the additional actions, and you can use it as a ringtone. So they really put it as a really easy way to do it. You remember how complicated it was?
Finally.
How complicated it was to do a ringtone? I mean, oh my God, you guys jumped through hoops to get it to do it because Apple didn't want you to do it. Well, now they welcome it. So
I have this collection of 80s television shows, music, and video games that I made into ringtones 2 decades ago that I can now make use of.
Yeah.
That's playing a long game right there.
I know. I've been waiting for this day. Been waiting.
And then they did improve some stuff in messages. There was an annoying message problem. When you would tap and hold on any message bubble, and a new select option now appears alongside the familiar copy and reaction choices, finally resolving one of the message's most persistent frustrations. The select feature allows you to highlight specific portions of the text within the message as opposed to copying the entire message. They simply tap and hold on any message bubble, choose select, and the contextual menu, and then you drag the handles and highlight exactly what text you need. It will work across all message types, including text messages and iMessages. The new select text feature should come in handy with a range of scenarios. A good example is sharing a lengthy message containing multiple pieces of information like an address, a phone number, a restaurant recommendation, and you can kind of just highlight it and select it and then bring it over. So big improvement. So they are looking at some improvements here on messages, which I'm very pleased about. And then
I
the other
need
thing
to experiment with that.
Yeah, me too. I want to try it on my 16E.
Yeah. Okay. Here's why I want to try it. I mean, first, The fact that we couldn't select part of a message years ago is absolutely ridiculous. But then the second thing is I want to see if selecting is improved in general, because that has always been a very weak part of iOS and iPadOS.
Yeah. Absolutely. Before we move on, I want to say hello to everybody in the chat at youtube.com/intouchwithiOS. We have Brian F. in the chat. How you doing, Brian? We're so glad you're here. Jill's brother, Wither Bucket, is in the chat. He's been very active. Thanks for being here. And Guy Searle, he's back out there. And thanks for being here, Guy. We miss you. I'm glad you're in the chat joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. That's In Touch with iOS here at youtube.com/intouchwithiOS. I'm so glad you guys are here tonight. So let's go on, and one more thing I wanted to mention is about the watch gesture feature. If we did talk about this, some of the Apple Watch models is going to gain a new wrist flick feature gesture in watchOS 26 that allows a user to dismiss notifications and return their watch face with a simple wrist movement. The gesture works by turning your wrist over and back using the accelerometer and the gyroscope to detect the motion. And with that gesture, you can dismiss incoming notifications, mute calls, silence alarms and alerts, and return the watch to the watch face without needing to use your other hand. So when you when wrist flick joins existing double tap gesture as another one of the control options for the Apple Watch users. Features can be toggled on in settings, gestures, and wrist flick. The one thing it's only going to be available on the newer Apple Watch models. So if you have anything older than a Series 9, I still have a Series 9, then you are out of luck with this feature. And of course, a Series 10 is going to be used, as well as the Apple Watch Ultra 2 that will support this feature. And Apple doesn't say exactly why these older models doesn't support the feature, despite having the same sensors, but it does have a new machine learning model suggesting that only the newer chips found in these recent Apple Watch models are powerful enough to handle it. So I would go under that assumption that that's in there. So I don't know if anybody's tried that on the watch.
Just hear me out.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Once again, they're creating an artificial distinction between models.
Yeah. Well, at least I've got the 9 still. They didn't change that one. I might hold it for another year. Who knows? Because of that. Because
holding on to it because
sensor.
You have all the features.
Yeah, the oxygen sensor.
That's why I never updated from my 8. I don't want to give up the sensors.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to add anything to that? All right. Let's move on and go on to In Touch with Mac this week. A couple things. One thing here, Apple did seed the 4th beta of macOS Tahoe to developers, and this is for testing purposes. You can download it now. It does feature, of course, we know the liquid glass redesign, and I'm very tempted to put it on this MacBook Air I use because this is my secondary Mac that I travel with. Because you know what, I'm finding that I want to get used to it quicker because I'm always behind when I'm not, and I don't have the betas on. So then when I have to be ready, I wanted to do some training and show people. And I think that's where I'm glad I have extra devices to do this on. So anybody that's on beta for Tahoe, you said, Jill, it's working really well for you?
Yeah, I think I installed it last night and I played with it today, and everything seems great. Yeah.
Anybody else want to add anything to that? All right. And let's go on. And Jill, I'm going to bring this to a segment that we've had from time to time, In Touch with AI. Jill has created an amazing ChatGPT shortcut that aggregates Apple News. She called it Apple News Scout. You shared that with me today, and I was like, wait, we got to talk about this on the show. So tell us, what did you do? And can you share it with everybody? We'd love to share it to our listeners, too, and viewers.
Oh, yeah. I think I ended up sharing it to everyone, but if not, I will, and then I'll give you the link that you can do it. But essentially, I thought there's a lot of news out there that I read on a weekly basis, and some of them are the sources that you tend to read, and some of them are some other ones as well. And I am into GPTs now. I am creating GPTs left and right all over for everything. And so it's my new go-to thing. But the idea is that you can see what is just new, and rumor mill. So I asked it to distinguish between something that comes from a reliable source and something that seems to be rumor mill or a leak, and let us know. So, yeah.
Yeah, share that make sure we put a link in our show notes here so we can have that for everybody. And we'd love to see how you created it too, because that'd be interesting to see if you have any tips on that. And so how people can create these things as well wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah. Anybody have anything to add about that and questions? I think this is great. I mean, Marty, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there are sources. There are like FeedSpot and other sources, but you have to wade through a lot of the rumor stuff, or a lot of the redone articles, or articles that have been stripped from other sources and redone on these websites and these kind of news media magazine stuff. So very valuable in terms of doing that.
Oh yeah, I did this during. Yeah. I did this during lunch, and so it was very quick. But my thought is that I would like to put in some canned news sites that I know you like to go to, that I like to go to, and then we can actually list them out and say, please prioritize these first. So right now it's very generic, but I think we can make it better.
Well, I think she's going to be on the task to help us make sure we even have more great information that we use for this show. So I appreciate you doing that, and I think everybody else is going to as well. Anybody else want to add anything to that? All right. So let's go on and move on. Another topic, Marty, I'm so glad you brought this to my attention. I saw it pop through these last couple of days, and I haven't had zero time to really look at it. I started poking around with it earlier today. I said, I better not do anything while I'm away from home to do this. But Apple did announced today AppleCare One. It's a new streamlined coverage into a single plan. And they say, of course, I'm reading from the Apple's new news release, that it's an incredible value for a single plan. So basically what it is, you can they unveiled AppleCare One, which is a new way to for customers to cover multiple Apple products with one simple plan. So for just $19.99 a month, customers can protect up to 3 products in one plan, with an option to add more at any time for another additional $6 or $5.99 a month for each device with the AppleCare One. Seems like it sounds familiar here, like the Apple One bundle.
Apple One. Yep.
Yeah, so I think this is great. So it's just started today as we record this on the 24th of July. And they went through and talked about all the ways it covers. And it does include already owned eligible devices, which kind of makes me kind of question, do I really want to upgrade it? Because I definitely won't do it to my iPhone, because I trade it in every year. So there's no point, because I have to include the Apple One, AppleCare with it anyway. But they may change it when we trade in this time, and we may go to this plan. It's very possible, depending on how they want to bill it. But Marty, why don't you share with us what your experience was so far with this?
Well, I saw it coming yesterday, talked a little bit about it last night on Old Mac Gang, and then got up this morning and got up ungodly early, even in Appleverse this morning, and attempted to go in. It's like, oh, good, it's the day I can do it. And the first time I tried to do it, it says, oh, there's an error here. Yeah, and I figure, well, it's maybe even too early for Appleverse. And forgot about it for the day, went back in later in the afternoon, and first thing I added was my Vision Pro, because that's a $25 a month charge. And I didn't believe they would do Vision Pro, frankly. I thought they would just set that thing aside, but they do. So right there, $5 off the cost of what I'm paying in terms of AppleCare. I generally do AppleCare on stuff, and for me, it's like that totem that prevents bad things from happening to my equipment. I never drop them. I never lose them. They never get stolen. So call it insurance, whatever you want to call. So I did that with Vision Pro, and then I had to find 2 other devices. So, of course, I looked at the ones that were creating the most expense for me on a monthly basis and added in my iPhone Pro Max, which is $13.99 a month. And so add that in. And then I added in, I think it might have been my 13-inch iPad Pro M4, which is $8.49 a month. So all of that then gets paid for $20 a month. Mm-hmm. Then I started looking at adding other devices. And if you look at the cost of adding some devices, it's only the monthly fee is like $3.99. So why would I add that device for $5.99? When I finished adding in the devices that I had, which included the iPhone 16e, which is $9.99 a month, it included my 15-inch MacBook Air, which is $7.99 a month. So I'm saving a couple of bucks off that. And my 13-inch MacBook Air M4, which is $699 a month. So I'm saving $1 off of that. Once I added those things in, if I added up the cost of what I was spending on AppleCare, now please do not shame me. Prior to this experience, I was paying about $90 a month for AppleCare across all the devices that I own.
I'm not going to shame you because even at that $90 a month, it's still smart because anything that has a display on it needs AppleCare. If it's a portable device, it needs AppleCare. And so even at $90 a month, it was still worth it because the first time you crack a screen, you've paid for your whole thing.
Well, here's the thing. At $90 a month, if I was doing it on AppleCare Plus, then I looked at the cost because as you add in addition, the first 3 items, they say you're going to get charged $19.99. Then as you add in another item, they're like, oh, well, now your monthly charge is going to be this and your monthly charge is going to be that. My monthly charge on AppleCare One was $53. So the difference between $90 and $53 a month in terms of cost savings. Then, I started hearing all these stories about people who were getting refunds. And I'm like, well, where's my refund? And it was in the junk mail. So when I went to junk mail to clear out my junk mail, there were the 3 returns or cashback that I was getting on some of the contracts that I had. So I had cashback for $72, $186, and $140.
Wow.
So I had a total cashback of around $398.
Okay.
So
let me bring you.
it's
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
So that's what I say. Really take a look at it. Take a look at the devices. I think it's good for people who have multiple devices. It's better the more devices that you have. You're going to save more on it if you're using AppleCare. If you are a person who has a couple of devices and none of them are on AppleCare, or you have 3 and none of them are on AppleCare, this becomes a really sweet deal for you. And I think it's going to entice new people in for that purpose. So I feel like I'm getting some of my investment back on this.
Okay. Hey, Chuck, I want to bring you in on this conversation. We have to get you in here. What do you? You're an AppleCare. You buy it for most things. So what do you think of this?
I buy AppleCare for the portable devices, Dave. Because I agree with Jeff's sentiments, but I feel like my desktop Macs, I'm not quite as worried about. I have a reputation, as you all know, for wanting to put films on everything and cases on everything to try to protect them. I have not had a chance to look at this, price it out, because I saw it go by in the news yesterday, and then today just blew up. So, being the insurance individual that I am, I want to go through and see what exactly the terms are. Because we in our industry we have a saying: read the policy. That applies to every insurance product you buy, and so I want to see exactly what's covered. But from everything that I've seen, without my personal evaluation, this looks like a heck of a deal.
It does.
I mean, especially if you have devices that you're moving around or take with you frequently, and again, to Jeff's point, ones with screens, absolutely. But if you're one of those people that packs up a mini and carries it from display to display, that too could be a deal. So I'm kind of anxious to see what, if I feed the devices I would want to protect in, what kind of dollar numbers it gives me. I love the idea, Marty. That really speaks highly, I think, of Apple to say that they're giving you a refund on things.
Yeah, which they always do. Like when we trade in our iPhones, I always get a refund back on the AppleCare on it because it's only covered because it's supposed to cover for 2 full years. Trading in, give me my money back.
A couple of things that I noticed about the process. One is, Chuck, I'm sorry to break the news. You can only use one Vision Pro headset in your account. So when you get 2, you're not going to be able to put them on. That's one thing. And it was some interesting chatter about people who go in and buy one for each of their family members. And that's not the world I live in. But the other thing that I noticed was and I think this might be kind of a personnel or a person power saving, because you then get on your first of all, I did my Vision Pro on my Mac, and that seemed easy. And then I couldn't figure out how to add other devices through this store. And so I went to my phone, which I think I read somewhere, do the rest of them on your phone. And it was so easy to add other devices to it. And it all falls under AppleCare One. So you have this list of devices that are under AppleCare One, which also means it's easy to take them out. Versus when we had to call them and say, yeah, I still have another year left on my contract. Can you give me some reimbursement for this? Blah, blah, blah. And I want to switch this out for that. That can all be done by the customer in a fairly easy way, which I think it saves them a ton of craziness in terms of support.
Mm-hmm. I had a horror story.
Go ahead, Jill. Sorry.
No, when I bought my first, so I bought Allison's MacBook first used, and then I bought my own MacBook Pro, and I have never dropped a device in my entire life. Decades, 40 years of owning a computer, I've never broken anything, a phone, anything. And about a week in, I dropped it and on concrete. And luckily, it only damaged the side of the edge. And so I brought it in, and the guy advised, well, why don't you wait till the very end of the Apple? It's the only time I ever in my life also bought the insurance. And he says, wait till the end in case you drop it again. And I never did. They repaired it. They said it cost $1,700 to fix this because it damaged the screen. And they doubled the trade-in value for the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro when I was thinking about trading it in. So it was a dream, so if you don't do
Apple's
it.
Been great. They've been great. They've been great for me on that stuff too. Well, I'll blame Allison on that though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's totally Alice's fault.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Everything is Allison's fault. Yeah. Marty, I just feel like I want to point out, because I don't know what the comments were about, multiple Vision Pros on the same account. But, and again, I sound like an insurance guy, but, you wouldn't just buy insurance on one car and then have 2 cars. Or just on your car and then be able to apply it to 2 cars. So I don't know. I got to believe that Apple at some point will target it by a serial number, or just give you, say you have to set up a second account if you have that many devices.
Well, I don't think you'd have to set up a second account. They just won't let you pair a second one into AppleCare One. They'd say, okay, that one you're going to pay $25 a month for with AppleCare Plus. The second one, yeah.
But I also think this is a great way to get people more locked in a positive way to the Apple ecosystem, because if I'm buying devices from multiple manufacturers and all, and I have to buy the care programs or the extra warranties or whatever they happen to call them, versus just being able to put all under one and maybe getting a little discount on top of it. But more importantly, it's just all there. There's a lot of loss of friction that is perfect to get somebody logged in. So I really am looking forward to doing more research and finding out more about this.
I think this will make it easier with less friction for people to trade in devices. And I think with everything going on, Apple wants to have more devices traded in because it's less expensive to turn them around and resell them. So I think it's great. Also, there was some mention about devices that you had that were up to 4 years old. You might be able to get added into AppleCare. Yeah. That was really kind of cool. And there hasn't been an opportunity. There are a whole slew of people that missed my device expired a month ago and I didn't notice until 2 months later, and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
The articles going into it said, there are going to be some devices that are not going to add into it.
Right.
They said that there are going to be some devices that are years old that can be added into it. Some of the new devices that you bought in the last year probably will just be swapping over. Some of the older devices, they might want to do either some type of online check to make sure that they're still functional, or bring them into an Apple store for a genius to look at.
Right. Yeah, I have this MacBook Air I'm on right now. The warranty is still good until 2027. So I want to really switch it because I already paid for it in full. So I have to balance to see what the value of that's going to be by me switching it. It may not be worth it because I already paid up front. Will they give me a refund for that? That's what I would like to know. If they would, then I would want to calculate it over the next couple of years. Then, that might be a good reason to do it. And I was going to also say that I just renewed my M1 MacBook Pro for a year, and I think I paid like $149 for it. Maybe that might be better off that I get out of that, give me that money back, and then just put it on the $19.99 until I'm ready to switch to a newer model. So that's the reason too. So being able to be on a monthly plan and cancel it and not have to worry about getting these refunds too. But go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah. No, Marty, I want to ask you, because you've done a lot more analysis than I have. But from what I see, I can't see anything that Apple's doing wrong here, or that that there's anything for anybody, even the staunchest critics, to complain about. Have I missed anything that you think that, well, it would be nice if they did this, did that, or could have done this, could have done that?
Well, again, it depends. It's going to still depend on the marketer, the consumer making decisions about it, because there are some products that they could own that put them if they bundle those three, it puts them sub to $20. So in that case, they're actually losing money by going into the bundle instead of keeping separate accounts. I saw one comment on one of the articles on it where a person said it would be really nice if they just put a calculator on their website.
I was going to bring that up.
Because it would make it so much easier. I wound up doing, to get my analysis of the cost, I basically used ChatGPT and then found some of the responses that they gave me wrong, because it was saying all iPads will go for this. This is what the monthly cost is. And the problem with it was, iPad Pros with an M4, completely different AppleCare costs than iPad minis or other iPads. So I went product by product and that I had and got the costs that I was paying for. Frankly, it was easier to do that than it was to try and find the receipts. Of what it is. Yeah,
but they should be able to look it up. So anyway, any last more comments about this before we move on from this topic? This was a really good discussion.
Yeah, I think the Apple ID for all of the devices has to be the same. So for people that have a family where each person in the family has a different Apple ID, then it doesn't quite work, even if they're on a family plan. So eventually I would like it to be something where you can have a family plan and combine devices. But that doesn't look like that's available yet.
It's not the case.
Yeah. So, all right. That was a great discussion. Appreciate it. Let's move on to some of the news for this week. iPhone. They've now, let's talk about Chrome real quick. If those of you who use Google Chrome on your iPhone, the iPhone users now can easily swap between personal and work accounts in Chrome. Google this week updated its Chrome app for the iPhone and the iPad to being able to add easier account switching for Chrome Enterprise. The functionality is designed for iOS users, but who need to swap between personal and managed work accounts. When a Chrome user switches from a personal account to a managed work account, using the added functionality, Chrome ensures that the data for the managed account stays separate. Now, that means the browsing history and the bookmarks and all the other work-related tabs will stay there. It'll improve upon this as well. I have an account for In Touch with iOS that I use Google Workspace, and that's the same setup that most schools use. That's a good example to being able to keep your accounts separate. My wife does it too. She's a school teacher, and she has it on her personal Mac that she has a separate account on her Mac, but you never were able to use this on the iPhone or the iPad. So Eric, with you being in education, what do you think on this?
I think it's great. I don't use Chrome myself, but I definitely work with people who use it a lot, and it's really the only way to work around the issue of not having everything kind of scrambled.
Yep. How about you, Marty? I don't know if the colleges probably don't use this as much, but what do you think?
Oh, no. I mean, colleges use Chrome. The other thing that because everybody's using Google Docs, and so Chrome it runs best on. And after the shaming I got on last week's show from Mike Potter, I have switched over to Firefox as much as I can. But yeah, the colleges still use it, and then K through 12 really uses it because one of the largest LMSs they use, learning management systems, is Google Classrooms.
Right.
So all of that's integrated with Google, so the kids are Googling out early, and they're gathering really valuable information from 10-year-olds and selling it on the market.
The horrible thing is that's actually true.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. What do you think, Jeff?
Hey, isn't this great? Now Google can have in-depth knowledge about your personal web activity and business activity, and it's easier for you.
They can tie it together. They can tie it together.
Yeah, they can absolutely tie it together. That said, there are a lot of people that have to do things with a business account versus a personal account, and it was a pain in the butt if you were doing that on your phone. So this was a necessary thing.
Chuck, anything on that?
Just that I'm surprised that. I mean, one of two things. I'm surprised other browsers haven't done this, and I feel like maybe they've been listening to a lot of the shows we all do, because I know I personally have one browser that I use for professional work, and then I use other browser or browsers for my personal stuff, and never the two shall meet if I can avoid it. And now, and I'm not about to, because for all the reasons Jeff just said and Jill just said, I'm not going to suddenly switch over and use two identities in Google or in Chrome, pardon me. But I really like the idea of being able to segregate that, and I've just done it, not exactly in analog fashion, but I've just used two separate browsers. So if you're a big fan of Chrome, and I know Jeff loves, the Workona plugin for Chrome, hey, great, go for it. If that's what you need to do. But this is a prediction, but I predict that there will be other browsers that'll be doing this, and maybe not for nefarious reasons, but just because it's going to become popular.
But I'm going to have to tell you,
if you're doing if you're doing it in a desktop browser, all the Chromium-based browsers make it real easy to have multiple Google accounts, and then you can just jump between them. And and if you want to get super crazy with it, you mentioned Workona. I can have different tab groups in Workona logged into different Google IDs simultaneously.
You can. I found this out last week. Workona has a plugin for Firefox. So I'm getting all my Workona through Firefox right now.
Good.
Yep.
And Firefox does have profiles too, because I have a profile that I use, my main profile, that syncs all my work bookmarks and all the settings. And anytime I sign into any other computer that's mine, it automatically syncs it over. You can create multiple profiles. So, like you said, Jeff, the Chromium-based browsers do as well. Edge, that's another good one. Microsoft. You can
that's
have
what I'm actually
personal and business easily, because I use Edge for work, and they don't. I tend to not want to put my personal account on my work computer. So, but if you have companies like, in the case, like I said, my wife, she works for a school district, they do allow it, so she can have her work profile and her personal profile. But since they're in the Google ecosystem, she's pretty much using Chrome. So, anybody else want anything before we move on? All right. other we want to talk about here is BMW. They have confirmed they have no plans to offer CarPlay Ultra. This was just announced today as we record this. They have confirmed that they will not support Apple's next generation CarPlay Ultra platforms in any of its upcoming vehicles. This is the first unequivocal public rejection of CarPlay Ultra by BMW since the system's announcement. The automaker had previously issued a neutral position in 2022, saying that it was looking at a clear focus whether it was going to use it or not. As I sum it up, but BMW says they have no plans at all to do it. So could this be a trend with other car manufacturers? Jeff, what do you think on this?
When Apple announced CarPlay Ultra, I thought this looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I thought this is going to be a tough sell for car makers.
Yep.
And I predicted that for people that have more money than sense, there would be companies out there that will do aftermarket dashboards that have CarPlay Ultra built in, so you can do a very expensive swap out. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me BMW is doing this, and I have a feeling that CarPlay Ultra is at this point going to be limited to a handful of luxury vehicles, and that's it.
Yep, like Aston Martin, or what was it? I forgot the first one.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was, but yeah. So I agree with that. Chuck, what do you think?
From what I remember of the article, BMW is going to use their own system.
Right.
And so
like
if we go, and so if we go back to some of our discussions before, you're going to have that inconsistency in the interface, but you also are going to have BMW apparently valuing the amount of data they can get from their customers, then valuing their customers. And there's a lot of supposition there, but there's a lot of evidence also that they don't want to give that up, either as a marketing source or even a potential revenue source. So maybe I'm just being paranoid, and I freely admit that that's a possibility, but it just feels like with the popularity of CarPlay, why wouldn't you go with something that people clearly want?
Yeah.
But
well, Chuck, if they do that, they're giving up the entire user experience and brand experience for the part of the car you focus on the most. And I can see where some companies would want to have a tighter control over what that experience is, whether or not they're offering something that's as good as or better than what Apple can offer. But I think a lot of companies, regardless of the quality of their interface, see that as part of their brand and want to control that brand.
Jeff, I would agree with your thinking completely. I think it's a misstep on their part, though, because I believe that there would be plenty of opportunities. The first one that pops to mind is that if you buy a BMW or something else and had CarPlay Plus, that, well, we have the best speakers, or we have a lot better speakers in our vehicle, or we have more speakers in our vehicle, that you improve the sensory experience as opposed to the interaction with interface experience. Mm-hmm. So, and I also question, depending on which of these high-end models that we're talking about, as to whether because you're right, that's what you focus on. But on the other hand, are you buying a BMW or some of the other super expensive cars to look at the interface or enjoy the interface, or are you looking at it from the prestige standpoint and the engineering standpoint and the acceleration standpoint and the performance standpoint? I mean, I'm not sure that the interface of the vehicle is what you're buying this for.
Right. You're not buying it for the interface, but at the same time, the interface is part of that experience.
Perhaps. I mean, I think I'll have to go out and check all my BMWs and see.
Yeah, I think BMW just sees the value in cornering the market on data that's generated from snobby elitists.
I got the Super that I bought about a year ago, and they have always had complaints about their interface of their touchpad, and they got complaints about it, and they started coming out with apps for it. And they quickly rolled that back. Like there was a birding app and there was a bunch of apps, and they decided they don't want to be in the software business, which was smart. And I think that I'm hoping, that companies will go in and start putting the Ultra in. And I was talking about this with my friend, but is that going to be the next, like we buy MacBooks and we buy iPhones, we buy this device and that device. And sometimes we need to do software. We buy, even though the hardware is good, we update because we want the newest software, which won't get it. Our car is going to become that, where suddenly we go, oh, well, if I got the new Outback 2027, it would have Ultra in it. So it would be an option for these companies to maybe sell more cars because they want to be able to, get you on Ultra 3 and, and instead of just the hardware. If they looked at it that way.
There's another way to think of this too, and that is that there's a difference between saying we're not going to go with CarPlay Ultra and saying we're not going to go for CarPlay. So as long as they still offer CarPlay, for a lot of people, that's good enough. CarPlay Ultra can do a lot of customization, but hardly anyone has actually seen it in the wild. So saying they're not going to do it, maybe that just means we won't see it over the next 6 years. That doesn't mean never.
Right.
I think the real question is who still has CarPlay? And if you eliminate CarPlay, like certain companies, GM, that's a big deal. And people have opinions about it. But if you still have CarPlay and just saying, yeah, we're not sure about Ultra, maybe that's different.
Yep. So it's definitely going to see where the rest of these car manufacturers go for this. That's definitely for sure. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on here. One or two more stories here. T-Mobile's Starlink satellite service is officially launched with iPhone support. T-Satellite, or the Starlink satellite service that T-Mobile had been testing for the last several months, I was testing it, is now out of beta, and it was announced yesterday as we record this. Satellite-based connectivity is available for T-Mobile subscribers, but it's also an option for Verizon and AT&T users. T-Mobile is offering users over 650 Starlink satellites to allow users to send and text messages when they're out of range of a cellular or Wi-Fi connection. T-Mobile says that the satellite service will work with more than 600 smartphones, including the iPhone. If you have an iPhone 14 or later, you can use T-Satellite, though these devices already have Apple's built-in satellite functionality that works with the Globalstar satellites. You will need iOS 18.3 or later to sign up. T-Mobile's satellite service is limited to texting with messages and SMS, and data is not supported. Apple's built-in satellite services support sending and receiving text messages, sharing location via Find My, and connecting to emergency services. So getting satellite-based weather updates and arranging roadside assistance via satellite, you have that available. Apple has not yet charged for any of those features. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be anything of worth it to add this if you already have the back with Apple and not paying for it, but it is $10 a month using the manage add-ons function in your T-Mobile accounts. If AT&T and Verizon customers want to get T-Satellite for $10 a month, they have to contact T-Mobile customer support. Good luck with that, I think. But glad to see that that satellite services are progressing. Marty, what do you think on this?
Who wants to go anywhere where there's not cellular or Wi-Fi service?
Well, Jill can probably test that in a minute.
That is my approach to life. And if you are there, this is great. You can email me the pictures. I'd love to see them. I'm making life choices right now, and the life choices included cellular and Wi-Fi connections.
So you've probably been in places where you can't get service, right?
Many places. I go hiking and camping, and my brother and I took a trip to Iceland where we didn't have anything, and I think it's great. Because I don't really want to be on the internet full time, when I'm out in the North Woods and, and in the trees and the stars and all that. But I also am afraid that I'm going to fall off a mountain or a tree or something, and having that kind of safety would be great.
Yeah, I was in Warsaw, Wisconsin, and couldn't get service and was miserable.
Okay. What do you think, Chuck, on this?
I think it's really, really important for safety and security, because whether I'm kind of in Marty's camp a bit, but I also know that there are times that you end up in places and situations that you don't expect and you don't realize there's no service.
Right.
And if an emergency occurs in one of those, I'd rather have the service, even if it's a premium service or whatever hoops I need to jump through. And the other thing too is this is the way that the world is going. I mean, pretty soon you're never going to be able to be out of touch unless you just really, really actively want to, or take yourself off.
Yeah.
Because there are too many crazy people that do stupid things, and then they want themselves to be rescued.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Jeff, you have thoughts?
I do have thoughts. I think including iPhone support in this package is more of a marketing move, because if you have an iPhone that supports the satellite communication, you already have the feature.
Right.
So this is something that's out there for the Android users, and I suspect that that there are families where they have a bunch of Android users and then like one or two iPhone users, and they want to get the thing for everyone, but they don't want their iPhone users to be left out because they don't understand, and so they end up paying for service they don't really need. So then it's just like gravy money for T-Mobile.
Right.
That said, offering this so that Android users have something that they can take advantage of, okay, great. But yeah, I don't see why any iPhone user would want to buy into this or would feel the need to buy into it without being coerced with inaccurate information.
Right. Eric, we'll wrap up with you. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just curious about how well this works in like heavy tree cover areas. If there are places where you can't get line of sight to a satellite for the Apple system, but maybe you could get this one to work. And then my only regret really is if you talk about all of this as a feature and on all the iPhones that support it, it's just there. How many times are people assuming they have it, but they didn't actually sign up for it and then are in the middle of nowhere expecting it?
Right.
My experience with being up in the North Woods is that it works great with trees. It works great in but it works better than like XM radio, where it cuts in and out. It's much better than that. But I was in a very bluffy area of Minnesota, and when we were in the midst of it, it was not there. So the bluffs killed it off.
One thing it'll be interesting to see how they handle AT&T and Verizon customers, because they have to contact T-Mobile to get it. Well, they can have a separate bill with T-Mobile just to pay $10 a month for it.
Sure.
I'd be curious to see where that goes. I mean, as long as you have an iPhone, you've got the SOS feature already. So it'll be definitely interesting to see where this goes. That's for sure.
Line of sight through trees is not a problem in my universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But did this offer more than what Apple offers for free? I mean, with Apple,
it offers
it's texting.
less.
It offers less.
Less, yeah, actually.
Okay.
Because then Apple's is free, but you gotta figure Apple's going to charge for it eventually. You would think,
right?
So far they haven't, so we'll see where it goes.
They love the life-saving stories.
Yes. All right. So that was a that was a great show for this week. But before we wrap up, I'm going to still continue to talk about Macstock. We all miss Macstock, and already it's been, I can't believe it, 2 weeks already, almost as we record this, and we're missing each other already. But you still can relive what happened as we wrapped up 2025. Attendees who attended are going to receive a link for the session recordings when they're ready. Mike Potter said that there'll be about 30 to 45 days or so. Hopefully we'll get to see them soon. I'll be looking forward to that. But if you miss Macstock, we didn't miss you. Well, why not purchase a digital pass? You can relive all the amazing presentations. There's going to be a link in the show notes so you can click and purchase this digital pass. Macstock 10 has already been announced. It's going to be July 10th, 11th, and 12th of 2026. So I hope you can join us there. But just click a link in the show notes. The Macstock 9 digital pass. It's not that expensive. You'll get 3 full days of great content from all of us. Most of us that were there. All of us were there. What am I talking about? Everybody on this panel. And almost all of us spoke. 4 of us 6 did speak. So please come check us out. Check out that digital pass and support Macstock, and come grab that because he'll have that ready. You can pre-purchase it right now. Just go to the website. It's macstockconferenceandexpo.com, but use that link in the show notes. It brings you right to that link. So that'd be great. That'd be great here. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on BlueSky and Mastodon, both at In Touch with iOS. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe when you're notified when we are live streaming, which is Thursday nights, usually at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're a little late today, but I had a good reason. But it's at our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios, where you can watch the current and past live streams as well as listen to past shows. Thanks for Guy making it to the live chat this week, as well as Witherbucket and Brian. I saw, and there was a lot of others in the chat. We really appreciate you joining us live because it's a lot of fun and you get to interact with us. And Web Bixby made it under the wire here too. Glad you were able to make it as well. So thank you for that. And you also can go to our page on Flipboard, which is the link is in the show notes. That's where we actually I push all the articles that we talk about this week. That link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, which includes Pocket Cast, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, but many others. But better yet, go to our website, which is intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there on that site. I am Dave Ginsberg. You can find me on BlueSky and Mastodon. I'm at DaveG65, and we're going to reverse the order here this time around. So, Eric Bolden, thank you for being here in your persona. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. And where can people find you?
I can be found at EA Bolden at mas.to on Mastodon. Otherwise, Mondays on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on Mac Voices. And, of course, Thursdays here on In Touch with iOS. So I cover all of my OSs throughout the week.
Yes, you do. Thanks for being here. Marty Jencius, thank you for being here. And where can people find you?
It's always important that you cover your OSs. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time, we do live stream of Vision Profiles with Eric, Dave, and Daniel on occasion. Tuesdays with Chuck on In Touch or on Mac Voices. Other projects I do, you can find thepodtalk.net, other different podcasts and other streams that I do. And then, of course, Thursday here with In Touch with iOS, and glad to be with this group. Yes. It's always kind of a good end of the week thing for me. So thanks for having me be a part of that. And it's so great to see my friends here.
Me too. All right. And Chuck Joyner, thank you for being here. Always a pleasure having you back here, and you made it this week. And where can people find you?
MacVoices.com. That's where you'll find everything I'm doing. We do the live show, as was mentioned, on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. And on all of the socials, you can find me as @ChuckJoyner, or almost all of the socials. There's still some that I'm not actually on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And Jill McKinley, I'm so excited that you're going to be a regular contributor here. Appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, I didn't say I'd contribute. I said I'd be regular. No, I'm just kidding. Besides this, you can find me. I have 4 podcasts and 3 YouTube channels. Jill from the North Woods. A website is coming soon that I'll have it because I'm just embarrassed to keep answering this question and not have a good answer for it. But you can find me with startwithsmallsteps.com, Start With Small Steps podcast, and on YouTube as well. And then they have links to everything else there.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Last but certainly not least, Jeff Gamet. I'm glad you were able to make it this week. Appreciate it. Where can people find you?
I'm glad it worked out, too. I'm happy to be here. And Jill, I'm so excited that you're just part of the team now.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I feel like the IQ shot up a few notches because you're here.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, so no pressure.
I hope so.
Thank you.
All right. So where can people find me? Jay Gamet on social media. Pretty much everywhere. Active right now on Mastodon and PixelFed and BlueSky. Then for shows, Tuesdays on Chuck's Mac Voices Live. Here on Thursdays for Dave's In Touch with iOS. Thursdays and Fridays on the British Tech Network for The Big Show and The Mac Show. Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Appreciate it. And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. So glad to see everybody in the chat room and on YouTube. And we'll be back next week. I'll be back in my normal spot after my little vacation this week. But until then, thanks again, and we'll talk again soon.